Welcome back for another deep dive. You send us source material, we jump right in, try to sift through it all.
Yeah, pull out the really useful bits, the insights, maybe some surprises.
Exactly, without getting too bogged down in the weeds.
And today, we're looking at something, well, it seems simple on the surface. It's a conversation, just two people describing their daily routines.
Right. So our mission here is to really unpack that conversation. We want to look at the specific actions, the verbs they use, the order of things.
The little detail.
Yeah, the details, to kind of map out the anatomy of a typical day, at least, according to this source. Like a blueprint.
It's fascinating because describing a day sounds basic, but the language, the structure, it reveals quite a bit.
Okay, then. Let's unpack this. We'll walk through the day, just like they described it, morning till night, starting at the very beginning.
Makes sense.
So first thing, obviously, is waking up.
And right away, there's a slight difference. One person says, usually around 7:00 a.m. Seems pretty standard. But the other is up earlier, around 6:30. They even call themselves an early bird, so, even the start isn't identical.
After waking up, the next step is actually getting out of bed. Making that move.
Yes, get out of bed. That's the immediate next action mentioned. And from there, both head to the bathroom.
Okay, and in the bathroom, the script mentions brushing teeth and washing face, calls them very common actions.
Which they are, right? Pretty fundamental start for a lot of people. It's interesting. The sequence is so clear. Wake up, get out of bed,
Right.
bathroom, brush teeth, wash face. It's almost like a little ritual.
Yeah, a set pattern. Okay, so after the bathroom, the next stop is the kitchen.
Ah, the kitchen. And the main activity there, making breakfast, getting some fuel.
And they gave specific examples, which is helpful. One person mentioned coffee and toast, sometimes fruit like a banana or an apple, described as simple and delicious.
Right. And the other one goes for tea and cereal. The description there was, sounds healthy.
Yeah. And notice the two distinct verbs. Make breakfast, then have breakfast. Prep, then eating.
Good point. It breaks down the meal itself into phases.
So breakfast is done.
Yeah.
Next up in the routine, getting dressed, putting on clothes for the day.
And if they're actually leaving the house, there are those extra steps. Putting on shoes.
Maybe a coat or jacket, depending.
Right. And then the final action before heading out is simply leave the house.
And where do they usually go?
To work, typically. But here's another interesting variation the source points out.
Oh.
One person works in an office, a fixed place. The other has more flexibility, sometimes works from home, sometimes goes into an office.
Okay. So the goal is work, but the how and where can be quite different. Affects the whole morning routine, potentially.
Exactly. It raises questions about how fixed these routines really are.
Okay, so let's shift focus then. What happens during the workday itself, according to the source?
Well, the core activities they mentioned sound very familiar for many jobs today. Sitting at a desk and working on a computer.
Right, that's the basic setup. Did they mention specific tasks?
Yeah, one speaker talked about answering emails and writing reports. Very standard office kind of work.
Okay. And the other one, the more flexible worker.
They mentioned slightly different things. Writing articles or preparing lessons. And also having online meetings, which is becoming super common, right?
Definitely. And the source actually defines having meetings. Pretty simply, just people getting together to talk about work.
Yeah, keeps it broad, but gets the idea across.
And then inevitably comes the midday break, lunchtime. The action is have lunch.
And again, different approaches. One person likes something light, maybe a sandwich or a salad.
Right.
The other person sometimes brings lunch from home. Other times might go out to eat somewhere.
That's interesting. The choices around lunch, like packing versus buying, or light versus maybe something heavier.
Yeah, it really reflects different ways of structuring that break, doesn't it? Planning ahead versus convenience, maybe keeping energy levels up. It's quite diverse.
So after lunch, it's basically back to work until the end of the day.
Pretty much, yeah. Finishing up the workday.
All right, so let's move on to what happens after work finishes.
Okay, the first thing mentioned is go home. And one speaker adds that this is a great feeling.
I think many can relate to that sense of relief or comfort.
Totally. It adds that little human touch. Once they're home, relaxation seems key. One option mentioned is relaxing on the sofa, maybe watching TV, described as nice and relaxing.
A common wind-down activity. What else?
Another big evening thing is cooking dinner.
Ah, yes. And again, we got examples. One person cooks pasta or simple soup called delicious.
Comfort food, maybe? The other person mentioned enjoying trying new recipes, noting That's fun.
So different motivations there, too. Simplicity and comfort versus, like, exploration and enjoyment in the kitchen.
Exactly. And after dinner comes the chore.
Let me guess. Washing the dishes.
You got it, and the quote was perfect. Not my favorite activity, but it has to be done.
Yeah, you can almost hear the sigh, can't you? So after the dishes are done, what else happens in the evening?
Well, one speaker mentioned quieter things like reading a book or maybe talking to family or friends. Connection-focused stuff.
Nice.
The other speaker had slightly different options. Sometimes going for a walk described as good exercise.
Getting some fresh air?
Or listening to music. Often something, relaxing. More solitary activities, perhaps.
Okay. And then just before the final step, there's a repeat from the morning.
Brushing teeth again.
Yeah.
Noted as a good habit. It really frames the day, doesn't it? Hygiene at both ends.
It does. Which leads us neatly to the very last action described in their day.
Going to bed.
And like waking up, they gave times for this too.
One speaker said around 10:03 or 11:00 p.m., called it a good time. The other pushes it a bit later, maybe around 11:30.
So those times kind of set the boundaries for their active day and, imply their sleep schedule too.
Exactly. It completes the cycle.
So if we zoom out and look at the whole day described in this conversation, we see this clear structure, right? Morning prep, the work block, coming home, evening wind down, then sleep.
Absolutely. And what's really striking is the sheer number of useful everyday verbs that came up just from talking about a daily routine. Like wake up, get out of bed, brush teeth, wash face, make breakfast, have breakfast.
Get dressed, put on shoes, put on a coat, leave the house, go to work.
Sit at my desk, work on my computer, answer emails, write reports, have meetings, write articles, prepare lessons, have lunch.
Go home, relax, watch TV, cook dinner, wash the dishes.
Read a book, talk to family, friends, go for a walk, listen to music, and finally, go to bed.
It's a surprisingly long list.
It really is. It highlights how our days, even when they feel kind of fluid or unstructured, are actually built from this sequence of specific actions. So what does this all mean?
Well, I think it shows that even a simple chat about a daily routine gives you this really rich map, linguistically and structurally, of how people organize their time. You see the common patterns, but also those little individual variations.
It's pretty powerful, isn't it? How much you can learn just by unpacking something so seemingly ordinary. It really is. And if you connect this back to yourself, to the listener, thinking about your own day in terms of these specific actions, well, how does that help you understand or even just describe your own routine? It gives you the vocabulary, the building blocks.
Yeah, like a toolkit for talking about your day and thinking about those blocks, those actions and times from the source. Here's a final thought. We saw the obvious variations like waking up times or lunch habits.
Right.
But what about the subtler differences? What makes one person's getting dressed routine may be fundamentally different from someone else's? Or how they work on a computer? How much unique stuff is hidden inside these actions we all use to describe our days?
That's a great question. What lies beneath those common labels?
Something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the structure of a day.